The chat, episode 18, all in on the Mango Nation. With joining me this week is, as always, DJ09, Julian, Mech214, Mauricio, Mitch, Psy Guy, aka Dan, Radicows, aka Larone, and special guest Rico. So,
Me, huh?
Am I
And
official?
Mitch, as always.
Wait, Jake.
Fan favorite, the beloved.
I said Mitch. What? I said Mitch.
No, I'm mad. Last week you gave everyone an adjective besides me. So I demand.
You demand an adjective?
Group
Yeah,
meetings.
give me an adjective.
Who wants to kick Jake out of this chat? He's always late. He's always ruining everything.
It's not even true. All right.
No
All right.
comment?
Wow. All right. The past few weeks, I'll give you that. But
All right.
all right. Well, Julian's new adjective is whining.
I'll
So
take it.
That's not even an adjective. That's
Who is
a
killing?
verb.
yeah, I meant to say whiny, not whining, but
Oh.
such is life. All right, Mauricio. This first topic is all Mauricio because yeah,
Because my mommy bought me toys as a kid.
yeah. So for all y'all Bionicle fans out there,
Oh, shit.
this is
That's
for
me.
you.
Yeah. So, earlier this week, the Beaver House and in collaboration with Biomedia Project and the Liam Robertson, I believe his name was, they released a final build of a canceled PC Bionicle game that was heavily advertised back in the day, and it was just like nobody heard from it again, and nobody was told like what happened. Pretty much, it was just we know it was canceled, and that was pretty much it. And like as a kid who played Bionicles with Bionicles a lot, I always saw pictures of this game all the time, and I was like, man, that looks cool, and it just never came out. And I was like, kind of, as a kid, I never had a good computer to play it, so I was just like, oh, whatever. Uh, but learning way later when I went back and I found all this newfound Bionicle stuff, because I was cleaning the house and I found all my old toys. I was like, oh man, I wonder if there's a community. There's a crazy online community for Bionicles that have been there forever. And I learned about this game and I was like, holy crap, that would have been awesome if it came out. And it did. And you can play it right now. It works on modern systems. You just kind of have to do, troubleshoot compatibility and whatnot. But it plays, and I've played it for a little bit. It's pretty cool. It's just, just a 3D platformer, but you play as all the different Toa, the original Toa, and you go through the whole island, and well, not the whole island, but you go through stages for each of them, and you play through, and it's really fun. It's pretty cool. And the reason I want to talk about it is just the fact that like the studio that worked on this and were eventually canned and they didn't finish it. Some of them burned the game to CDs, and everybody took like copies just as a memoir, because even though they didn't get paid and it was pretty shitty, they still enjoyed their time working on it. And I guess one of them gave these guys anonymously a copy, and so the whole game was there, and they have it. And I just think it's cool that these things that were never saw the light of day and were never finished, and everybody thought like, wow, this thing is crazy. 17 years later, they're able to preserve this thing, and they actually want to run updates on it and bring it to as close to what the finished product would have been. I just think that's so cool that there's communities out there that will work their damnedest to preserve and to bring these old forms of media and these old things that were never finished and try to finish them to the best they can. I just think that's really cool.
I agree.
Have you played it?
I have, yeah. Just a little bit. They have like the 6 stages, one for each of the different Toa, and then I think a final level that wasn't fully completed, but you can still do most of it. And I haven't actually played. I played this first stage a little bit. You play as Onua, the Toa of Earth. He's the black one. He's pretty cool. And
Racist.
no, he's cool. He's great. No, the brown one is stone. The black one is earth because it's underground, and he blends in with the caves and stuff.
Wow, that's mega racist.
And how is it?
Because
He's Earth because he blends in with the environment. Wow.
No, because he's
No,
in
he's
cave.
black
So
because
un-
he's Earth, not the other way around, man. Why you gotta make it about that?
So, anyways, fun fact: the Maori and Polynesian people sued Lego because all of the words in Bionicle are based off of their language, and they were really pissed that they were using this, and like they thought that they were making fun of their culture. So Lego had to like stop, and they had to make up new words and stuff. So yeah,
That's pretty dumb.
it's pretty interesting. But, yeah, just as a piece of like gaming and just like Bionicle history and stuff, the fact that this thing didn't exist forever, and then somehow they got an alpha build a couple years ago that was like barely playable, and now they have pretty much as close to finished as it possibly was, and they're able to preserve it and release it for free for other people to play. I just think that's so cool. And that happens with some projects, like the Galloping Ghost in Brookfield, Illinois. It's an arcade that they have prototypes of games that were never released. They have the one existing prototype, and it's out there on the floor for people to play and have fun with. And I just think that's a cool thing.
I hope they made
And-
copies.
Yeah, they probably have ROM dumps of it and whatever, but like, I just think that's really cool that whenever stuff like this happens, I just think that's pretty cool. And I want to talk about that. I felt that it had some merit to it.
That reminds
Yeah,
me of
for
that.
sure.
You ever hear of 6 Days in Fallujah?
No.
It's
No.
a video game that was being made about one of the battles in Iraq.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mm.
it got shut down because some angry mom went on the news and complained about it. She's like, my son died there and he's not in the game. That's disrespectful to him.
Right.
And then the publishers pulled funding.
That sucks.
That's
That'd be-
unfortunate.
Like
Yeah.
something similar happened there.
Right. So there's more on it if you look at the Did You Know Gaming video about it. There's a whole 20-minute video. I recommend you check it out. It's pretty interesting. But does anybody else have anything to say before we go on?
See, if I cared more about Bionicles, I would like be more interested in
Man,
this.
I used to build those, and you always you get 3 of them, and then they come with like this other one that you
Yeah.
can take 3 apart and build a big guy with it.
That was the coolest thing
Yeah.
when you got what Mitch is saying is three of the like six each set had 6 characters, and then if you got half of them, at the back of the manual there would be a thing where you could take all 3 of them and combine them into a bigger Bionicle. And yeah, that was the coolest thing when you did that. Is awesome. I love that.
See, I never had 3.
It incentivized you to get more of them.
I only ever had 2.
You never had 3?
I had 2 exactly.
Come on.
But I never actually
Really?
got a third one to make the big Bionicle.
I remember.
I mean, there was specific, like it was white, green, and blue went together, and then red, brown, and black went together.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the color scheme always. They like put the cool colors together and the warm colors together. Well, I guess brown and black are technically not.
Yeah,
They don't have a
I
temperature.
hunted it down. I had this guy, and I thought he was the coolest piece of shit.
Where is he?
He's
In
in
the
the
Discord.
he's in the Discord. Oh yeah, that one's
That
awesome.
It was like a
Hold
big
on.
spider thing, and
Oh,
I remember it looking much cooler.
this was in the later generation. I kind of stopped after 2003. I want to say
All right, here's a good one of a combination.
when they were still on the island of Matanui. That's when that's the one I was.
The lore never made any sense to me. I watched a couple of the movies. I was completely lost the whole time.
The Mask of Light made total sense.
I don't believe that.
No, but Mitch is totally right. Like I went back and I went on the wiki. I was like, holy shit, there's years of history here that I had no idea about, and it's convoluted. Yeah, Mitch is right. It's crazy.
I like built Bionicles and I played the shit out of them, but I didn't know a single thing about the lore.
Yep, nothing.
Yeah, I didn't either until I watched the movie. But even before the movie, there were comic books and like short books for like kids, like little novels for kids. And online, they had short stories online that were part of the canon on lego.com and all this crazy stuff. And if you go to the Biomedia project, it's all there. All of it's there. The Flash games that also counted towards the continuity, the computer games that came on like discs when you bought certain Bionicles, they were all there and they all counted towards it.
How long has it been since they stopped making these?
They stopped in 2010,
Oh wow.
and then they rebooted it in 2015, and they only lasted to the end of 2016.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I learned this like maybe last year.
They rebooted Bionicles 2 years
Yeah.
ago. What? Really?
It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
There's even like a little like 2-season 4-episode show on
guys-
Netflix that you can watch.
This is what
Yep,
I
that's
dug
the
it
new
up.
ones. No, wait, this is yeah, these are the new ones. Yep.
Huh.
They all have spiders and a gold mask.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sounds
Well,
like
I don't
some
know that lore. But
power
anyways,
play.
next topic. Bionicles were cool. Next topic. Microsoft came out with an adaptive controller for people with various disabilities, and I think that is really, really cool. Because I was at work at lunch, and one of my coworkers showed me this. He's like, "Look at this crazy controller," and all I could see was the D-pad and the 2 huge buttons. And I was like, "What is this for? Like, is this for playing dive kick or something? Because that's what the 2 huge buttons are for." And then I
Give it
saw
a
the
little picture,
video
Sam.
like yesterday. Yeah, there it is. And then I saw the video yesterday of what it actually for and how
But,
they
like,
developed it. And I think it's the
screw-
coolest thing ever.
Screw accessibility. This is gonna be huge for every avenue.
Yeah, like the biggest thing I thought of when I saw this was with just accessibility and stuff. Whenever Ben Heck made those controllers that are like one-handed controllers, somebody who only has one, and stuff like that, like making gaming more accessible to people who just they don't have as fine motor functions with their hands, or they don't have enough limbs to do it. I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Like
And
Adam.
I don't know if you guys remember
Wow.
this fighting game player called Broly Legs. Do you guys remember him?
No, but
No,
that's
that is a good name
Never
though.
heard of him.
So Broly Legs, he has I forget what disability he has, but he can't use his legs, and he has very little fine function with his hands. So he can kind of only use one hand, but he plays fighting games and he's competitive, and he holds the controller up to his face with his right hand, and he presses the buttons with and the yeah, there he is. He presses the buttons and stuff with his
He
tongue.
fights with his mouth. Oh, what?
And dude, and he wins. Like he's not crazy high level, but he still can play with other people. And to see that in a community like the FGC, where they're the most saltiest, meanest, well, at least from looking in, it's like they're very
They are.
Yeah, they
you know,
are.
they're like and they embrace that culture, you know, because it's like at the end of the day, they really don't mean to be assholes, but that's just kind of how it is, you know. Like
Yeah.
they'll support you even if they're assholes and stuff, but it's like seeing that is like, wow, look at him, he can do his best to use a controller like that. But like this thing will open up the avenue for people who maybe have less function than him, or you know, I just think it's the coolest idea that nobody has really investigated on a large scale. And to see a big company like Microsoft finally step in and say, hey, instead of making this a niche market and for very specialized companies to make these controllers, because they exist, but they're not in very high volume or high demand, to see this is really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe more companies will follow suit after Microsoft. Maybe Sony will make one too.
Yeah, I'm very much in
I
favor
mean-
of this initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if much companies will really investigate it. It would be cool. I mean, to say much companies, I mean like, you know, other game developers. I don't know if they'll really investigate it.
It's been an enormous pain for most games to even have a colorblind mode.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like I
it's
said,
gonna
it's
be a
cool
slow
that
one.
it's cool that this exists. If other companies will follow
Yeah, it's
suit,
kinda
that's a
sad.
big if, and I don't know if it'll actually happen. But maybe years down the line, you know, it's I don't know. It's just really cool. It brings me back to like it reminds me of a story of a professor, one of my professors at IIT, Shilnov. He says it's crazy how in the not crazy, but he said it's interesting to think how in the United States they're accommodating for everybody. You know, where he came from, Ukraine or you know other countries, they're not almost not nearly as accommodating as the United States. You know, they have ramps and elevators in most places, and now we even have controllers for people to play video games with other people. It's just an interesting. It's really really cool thing to see.
This reminds me of the blind Ocarina of Time player. You guys know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a blind guy who beat Ocarina of Time. I think it took him like years to do it, but there's a whole article about him.
Yeah, and it was all because of like a big group of people like helped out, like
Yeah.
gave him, guidance and figured out
That's really
setups
cool.
and stuff and like devised a system for him to like use the sword as a walking stick basically to navigate through the game.
Yeah, that I know about because I've seen runners do
Yeah.
it blindfolded, and apparently, and the Ocarina of Time had a pretty good like sound design to it. So
Mhm.
they would hit various objects with the sword to know where they were, and Link has different footsteps on different materials, so they knew where they were using that as well.
Yep.
Pretty cool stuff.
It's very cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he
But
was
yeah,
able to
and
beat the game.
looking at this controller out of context, not knowing what its purpose was, I was straight up like, who the hell is this for? Like, this looks like it's for dive kick. Like, because there's 2 buttons. That's it. What else is there? But,
It would be awesome for dive kick.
Well, yeah, because you have the D-pad and the start and the 2 buttons, so you can go through the menus and stuff, and you could just go for it. Well, yeah, it's really cool. My only thing the only other thing I was thinking of when I saw the video is this base component is really cool, but all the other plugins that they have for it, I don't know if they're proprietary, if you could plug in other things. It
I mean,
might
it's 3.5 millimeter
cost-
jack, so no reason why
Right.
other companies
I'm
couldn't
just
make
saying
third-party
it
adapters.
might be costly.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying, it might get costly for somebody who wants to get more components to make it, even more helpful. Like they show in the video, like pedals and other various things, like different kind of analog sticks and joysticks and other
Yeah.
various things that you could plug into it to make it perfectly accessible to whoever's playing. That might get expensive. And then I thought about it, and those people usually can get help for kind of buying devices. Granted, this is for entertainment. I don't know if they can do that. I don't know how that works. But
Maybe not.
mean-
at least not now. Who knows about the future?
right, maybe in the future.
Because like
But
also this
at
could
first
theoretically be used
it
to
might
help.
get expensive.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's either their choices right now is either it's expensive or they just don't get to play games at all.
Yeah.
So like, there's a cost entry, but I
Like I said.
mean, it gives them an actual avenue to do it, and the cost will come down on things like this inevitably, and
Right.
if it
And I'm
becomes
pretty
more
sure
common,
there'll-
then
I'm pretty sure there'll be a way to help pay for it as well. Microsoft is going through the effort of developing this. I'm sure there's going to be something where like, it'll be. I'm sure there'll be some sort of system to give help to people who want to buy these, because there generally is with certain accessibility things like this.
Yeah. all in all, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Glad to see Microsoft
agree.
taking the initiative to do it.
Great job, Microsoft. Always innovating, no matter what.
Not always, but they are right
And
now.
Speaking of innovation,
Yeah.
because I want to throw this in real quick. Hold on. What do you mean they never innovated?
That's not what he said.
That's not what I said. I said there have been
sorry.
times where they haven't. They are right now, though. I'll give you
Like?
that. They're doing a lot of cool stuff right now.
When have they? But give me an example.
Yeah, I'm more talking about like the era of like 2007 through 2011.
When Xbox Live was really crazy, when the 360 became the multimedia system in the household, when they were putting applications on a game system. What are you talking about?
I think he's referring to the non-gaming parts of
Yeah,
Microsoft.
Xbox is sort of
the
irrelevant.
system?
Xbox is a
Oh.
small part of Microsoft.
You said
Oh,
Microsoft, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about specifically their Xbox division.
No, I'm talking about Xbox as a company.
I mean,
All right,
Xbox
my
One,
Or not
Isn't-
Microsoft as a company.
Call of Xbox One isn't that great.
Well, it's
I'm not saying it's the best system ever.
Right.
I'm just saying to say that Xbox
Problem.
and Microsoft didn't innovate in gaming ever. Was
But he
like,
didn't say that.
He didn't say
I
that.
never said that.
I'm
He
sorry.
never said that.
I'm sorry. I misheard you. Okay. Sorry.
See, the problem with the Xbox One is that if you have a PC, there's no reason to buy one. And if you don't have a PC, there's no reason to buy one.
Damn.
Yeah.
They just get some games on it, people will flock to it. But they don't got any.
Yeah.
That's not true. There's games that just like if you didn't like them before, I mean, Like it's got Halo, it's got Gears. These are big names, but
Doesn't-
again, if you never had a
all-
360
all
and you
I've
didn't
heard-
care about these games,
I did
then
have a 360,
won't
and I
care.
do care about them, but all I've heard about Halo 5 and the new Gears is that they suck.
The new Gears, I've heard that it was good. Halo 5, I heard that the multiplayer is the perfect Halo. It's the best multiplayer Halo's ever had. The story is a little strange.
Told
That's
you.
what I've heard.
I've only
mean,
heard Doom and Gloom, but I never played them, so I don't know.
I mean, they're good games. I don't know. But anyways, back to innovation. So back in 2001, when the Xbox original came, because we're still on the Microsoft topic, when the Xbox original came out, it came. The story is that Microsoft approached a smaller American company and they said, "Hey, we want a board for a controller that has these various features. Analog sticks, triggers, motors for rumble, things like that." And the company came back to them and gave them a circuit board that was huge. And Microsoft was like, "Oh, geez, what are we gonna do with this?" So one of the designers at Xbox created a shell that managed to get everything inside of it. They're like, "Okay, this looks good. Well, it looks well enough given what we had." And they released it. And the controller was so huge and bulky, but some people did like it, and they called it the Duke. And this week, Hyperkin's Duke controller for the Xbox One came out. And if you like that design, or even if you just like, the design and it's iconic and you have the money to spend on it, the Duke controller for the Xbox One, I have it. It works great. It's cool to have this kind of part of gaming history, because this is the first time Microsoft came into the console gaming market. And if it wasn't for the original Xbox, shooters would not be a viable thing on console. And this is not like an Xbox thing. Like I'm talking Xbox up. It's just like before it came out, people were like, shooters are only for PC. They will never ever be popular on console. And then Halo came out and people were like, hold on a minute, maybe there's something here. And so eventually throughout the years, they started to become very, very popular. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out for the 360 years later, but like Halo 1 and 2 and various other shooters, they paved the way. And this controller is just kind of a cool piece of history and just looks cool. And when you press the guide button, it shows up the little Xbox startup animation every time you hit the button, which is pretty cool. It fits in the hand weird, but weird in a little bit, but it's also really comfortable. Again, it's all a personal preference thing. If your hands are small, it's not going to work. So,
Yeah.
Mitch, what were you talking about earlier? You like your experience with the controller way back?
Oh, it was just huge. The original one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember being
this controller was
remember
not
not
meant
liking the
for
original
human
stuff.
hands. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was actually a problem. So much of a problem for the Japanese market, because they themselves were like, no Japanese person is going to hold this controller. It's too big. Like, what is this? So Microsoft had to develop a second controller really quick called the Xbox Controller S. And that one, if you look at it, you could kind of see it's a little bit more familiar. The black and white buttons are moved lower than the face buttons. Everything's a bit smaller. They still have the offset joysticks, but it's like, it's more recognizable. And you can look at that controller and see how they went from that to the 360 and then to the Xbox One. But yeah, it's funny how crazy this controller, how decisive it was. Or was it divisive or decisive?
Divisive.
Divisive, I believe is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Divisive. Yeah, just how divisive this controller was. And to see, like, there was enough of a following that people, like, Hyperkin released it and pre-orders went up, and you're not able to, like, get this controller if you didn't pre-order it. Like, the only reason I got it was because a dude didn't pick up his controller on time, and I kept calling the GameStop to ask if they had one, and they're like, yeah, the guy hasn't answered our calls. We called them like a bunch of times. We'll just hold it for you when you come in. So yeah, I managed to get it. Shout out to GameStop on LaGrange, because they're good people.
Nice.
See, I don't know.
Anyways, that's all.
It seems a little strange to me, but
Seems a little.
just I don't know. This controller sucked. People hated it.
Yeah, a lot of people hated it.
Like,
No, I'm not hiding that. A lot of people hated it.
this controller was a
But
total
lot of
flop.
Strangely enough, the controller has a pretty strong, like, the people who liked it really liked it. Like, if you look back in 2006, I want to say, Ben Heck got an original Duke controller and modded it to work as a wireless controller for the 360. and people like a lot of people were like, this is why that controller sucked. But a lot of people were like, I will pay you money for this controller, and he sold a couple of them. Like people really liked the controller. The people who liked it really liked it.
I want to
It's just
see
interesting that kind of stuff happen.
I want to see a Venn diagram or like the overlap between people who like this controller and people who are over 6 feet tall.
Right.
I
I'm
bet
sure, like
I bet there is some serious correlation. I mean, I can get that. We Dan and I have a
They made it
friend.
just for the CEO.
He always preferred, he like bought like Mad Catz controllers for the GameCube because he thought the GameCube controller was too small, and Mad Catz have some like massive ones that like
Yeah.
worked with his huge hands. So pretty
yeah,
similar.
I mean, yeah, it's just cool that like they're like, hey, we're gonna bring out this thing, infamous or not, you like it or hate it, it's coming out, and people are like, I will buy this. Like me, I bought it because I
Yeah.
don't know, I just like the controller a lot. And well, yeah, you're right. I mean, some like Mad Catz. I remember I was a bit bigger than some of my friends, so I used the Mad Catz controller on the GameCube, and everybody used regular controllers. And I don't know why, I like the bigger controller for some reason. Some people like bigger controllers, some people don't. I mean, granted, this one is like unwieldy. Like as a kid, I'm sure I had problems with this. I don't remember any, but yeah, like this is nuts. It's like,
Disjoint your
I'm
thumbs
saying
trying
this
to
yeah,
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if I've
people who
ever
like
played an Xbox.
a lot of people who like this
Wow.
controller were older or were adults at the time, so they kind of liked it. They were like, oh, this is pretty comfortable and it's pretty big, and you could just put your thumb over all the face buttons at the same time without much effort, and it's all formed directly. It's I don't know, it has interesting designs to it. But yeah, I just again, I like the fact that this design has enough of a following. They're like, yeah, we'll just make another one. Go for it. And it works with Windows 10, Xbox One, and Windows 10.
nice.
I'm saying this for Erin because she won't say it right now, but stop being an Xbox fanboy. The Heat controller sucked.
You know, Windows 10, now that you mention it, it just updated and it ruined everything. It's like
Well,
now the sound thing, like you right click on the little speaker icon and they completely changed it. So now it takes like 2 extra clicks to get to the playback devices. So if I want to swap between like my
Oh,
headset
does
and
it?
my speakers,
Should I just not
That
update then?
sucks.
It's telling me to update. I should just tell it no, right?
well, anyways, Julian, I did not have an original Xbox back in the day. My friend Jake did, but I played
do.
Xbox. But like, I don't have this crazy attachment to the original Xbox. The 360, however, I do have a big attachment to, because it was like,
360 was the best gaming years of my life.
yeah, for real. It was like that was Xbox Live was at its peak. It was like the premium. It was the best way to play multiplayer on a console because PS3 hadn't really figured it out yet, and the Wii was like whatever. And
Wii multiplayer?
yeah,
There was
360 was
Mario
like
Kart.
dominating. 360 had Halo 3 and Reach and ODST,
Yeah.
Gears. It had all these crazy games on it that were like so. They like they were just like 360 was knocking it out of the park that year. Those years, it was that generation was awesome.
Eh.
I think you're severely underestimating the appeal of Check Me Out.
Yeah, the
Check
Wii
me out.
Check Me Out
Say that?
channel.
I've never even heard of it. What is that?
Wait, you never used the Check Me Out
my-
channel
I've
on the
never used
Wii?
the Check Me Out channel. No.
Fraud?
Check Me Out. That was the one where you could share me's, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and there was like weekly contests about like where they were like,
Yeah.
like crazy creative me's.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm underestimating that, but like,
No, you weren't.
know?
You weren't.
well, the 360, just to go on the 360 a little bit, it was like that was the first time I saw independent developed games on the system. A bunch of them were trash because they could just throw up whatever they wanted as long as it wasn't, profane or anything. But there was some cool stuff in there. It was like only $1, here you go. And then the whole concept of buying things digitally and downloading it directly to your console and connecting to the internet and using the console as a media outlet. Like I was watching YouTube and Netflix and all these other things on my Xbox. I was connecting my PC to it and playing music or showing photos for family members. It was crazy. It was like they did so much with the 360 that was like insane, and I just like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, 360.
I mean, Sony was doing all that same stuff. In all fairness.
Yeah, but not as good as the
not
360,
as good as
what I'm saying.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
They tried. Yeah, they were both approaching things at approximately the same time, but Microsoft hit it right way quicker.
Yep.
And their console came out cheaper by like hundreds of dollars.
That's
like
true.
The PS3 when it came out was $700.
But it wasn't.
It was.
Blu-ray
It was
player.
also a Blu-ray player. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
a Blu-ray
also
player.
and Blu-ray players were around $700 back then.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
actually
600,
it was the
I think.
cheapest Blu-ray.
I'm
No, when the PS3 launched, it was the cheapest Blu-ray player,
Yeah, but
which was
still,
part
it
of its
was like-
appeal.
I didn't get a Blu-ray player until years after I had a 360.
Yeah, it was 600.
When it came out,
$599. Forget.
Yeah.
when it came
599
out,
US.
Blu-ray was still that new media that nobody wanted to adopt yet. It
Well,
was too
no, it
new.
was. The thing was, there was competition. It was Blu-ray versus HD DVD. Which one was gonna win?
Yeah, and Blu-ray won out.
By a lot.
But still, it was still that new form of media that not enough people wanted to drop money on initially. They're
But
like,
it wasn't
we'll wait
that.
until it gets
But that's
cheap."
why the
But the reason-
PS3 was such a brilliant thing, because it's not just a Blu-ray player; it's a video game console. It's a
Right.
successor to the
That's
PS2,
a
the most
big reason
popular game
why.
console of all time, and it's
Right.
also a
Do
Blu-ray
you
player.
remember when
Like
the-
that's sick.
Do you
Yeah,
remember
but
when
do you
the
remember how
PS3
much it sold?
came out?
Not a lot.
Like, yeah,
It was
didn't
expensive
sell a
and
lot.
had no game.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Didn't have a
expensive
chance.
and it didn't have a games. Yeah, you could use it to watch your movies, which at the time wasn't a lot of Blu-rays you could get, from. Now everything's on Blu-ray, but at the time it's like, okay, we could get a few movies on Blu-ray, and there's a few games that we can play. Whatever. I mean, not whatever, but still, it's like, I don't know. Or I could get a 360, which plays all the DVDs I own, and I can play Fable 2 and Halo 3 and Gears of War, the new hotness that came out. It's like, come on. It's like,
I remember people saying boycott Sony after that joke of an E3 press conference with the giant enemy crab and $5.99 US.
yeah, it was.
Hey, that was a great laugh.
That was I do remember that.
I'm just saying, give the 360 some credit here, Jake. Like, come on.
No, I'm not. It's
I
just
don't recall him not giving them credit.
yeah.
I don't
I
think you've understood Jake's argument at all.
yeah. I'm
Listen, I love my
I'm just
360.
saying. It's not like the 360 invented like all this stuff like completely
No, but
on their own.
But it perfected it. It got it so good.
Perfected.
He is right about that.
It was so accessible to get things on the 360. So quick and easy.
I believe that. For full disclosure,
Like-
I never
once-
owned a 360. I also have never touched an Xbox in my life.
Oh man,
Wow.
you missed out on a great generation with.
You guys call me frauds.
No, okay, I played the 360. I've just
I've
never
never
played the
claimed it,
original Xbox.
Have we ever claimed that Jake is anything but a fraud?
Damn, got him.
Hold on, I have a meme for this. I'll post it in the chat.
I mean, I don't think I've ever touched an original Xbox either.
But again, the last thing about the Xbox, because I accidentally got this tangent. I'm sorry, but like, buying Microsoft points to buy stuff on the 360.
Here's
Once
an
my
old one.
mom learned that we didn't have to go to the store to get a Microsoft points card, that she could just put her credit card on the account and I can get points, she immediately did that. She's like, "Oh, you can buy them from home? I'll go ahead, do it." And I was like, "What?" Like, the concept of even that was crazy. What is this? Oh, this is the meme.
The meme, yeah.
All right, I'm done with all my topics. Bye,
Wait.
everybody.
Sony always wins.
The NES Classic.
Oh yeah,
June
apparently
29th.
Julian brought it to my attention that Nintendo is making more NES Classics. That's kind of cool if you still wanted one but you just couldn't get one. That's cool. But to me, I see this as too little, too late, because the people who really wanted one, really wanted one, probably already paid a premium online to buy one from somebody who scalped it. So they're kind of SOL now. And then people who didn't care initially and were like, "Oh, you can just get a Raspberry Pi and put stuff on there," they're not gonna buy it either. I don't really see, besides collectors who want another one or people who want to scalp it even more, which is crazy. I just feel like it's too little, too late, because, like I said, people have already paid for it, or they just didn't care initially.
Like Amiibos all over again.
I think there's probably a lot of people who are still interested who weren't gonna buy it from scalpers and were just gonna patiently wait for it.
I'd agree with Jake. Yeah.
There's
I mean,
a
maybe, but I
huge.
just that's a crazy wait. And even then, like Nintendo was like,
It's gonna sell just
we're not
fine.
making any more this year. And then those people, I'm sure they lost hope because I remember it was like, yeah, we'll have more on this date, and then we won't make any more after that. I remember somewhere they said that, and it was just like, well, I guess you're SOL, or you could just emulate it on your computer or your phone or something.
Like, who was interested in those to begin with?
A lot of
A
people.
lot of people.
Yeah,
People who never
tons
played
of
the
Surprised.
people.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll probably surprise us again.
Yeah, I mean, also
people who
like
never played the games
there's
but really wanted to, like they had good games on there, like Mega Man and Zelda and all the names that we know, but we maybe have never played the originals. Now, a lot of people were like, "Hey, hell's yeah, I want to play those games." Like an SNES Classic, I got those because a bunch of those games I never played before, but I wanted to. And like Super Castlevania 4 is on there. Like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna play that. Or Super Contra, or what else do they have on there? Chrono
Secret
Trigger,
of-
not Chrono Trigger. Secret of Mana. That's the one.
Hmm.
So I just feel like, what's the point? Maybe they're just trying to.
They're
Get-
trying to.
yeah,
get
they're gonna
people
this
getting
is
people
I'm not
classic.
I'm not sure what you're getting at. This is gonna sell fine. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure, but I'm just like, come on, man. People
gonna
have been
fly
scalping
off
this
the
shit for
shelves.
years now, and people have already bought them. It's like I
Has
don't.
it been
see-
years?
Yeah, years. It's been
Oh,
out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been out a long time. It's been not discontinued, but they haven't printed more in a long time.
yeah, it's been a
So,
few years.
I just
It
feel
is,
it. You know what I mean? I don't feel there's too much merit to it now.
I disagree.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, I'm sure
It
there's
is
like
in-
millions of people who didn't buy it the first round who probably didn't even hear of this thing. Like, it's
Okay.
possible. I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of people to still buy it. I'm sure. I know a couple
Yeah.
people in my family who wanted one and couldn't get one, and I'm sure they'll buy it now that it's out again.
I'm interested. It is interesting that they're doing this, like since the Switch Online service has the NES games now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they
It's
aren't
gonna-
like cutting into their own market because these are two completely different like devices. But no, I don't know. It's just interesting to me that Nintendo's focusing on the NES this year.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right.
On this topic,
Now I'm out.
y'all think there's any chance of an N64 Classic Edition? I think we've
Yes,
talked
there's
about this
entirely a
brief.
chance.
Well,
I think there
considering,
is a chance.
If they want some money, sure.
well, they don't.
Yeah, if
make
That one they
Nintendo's
better
like,
make
anymore.
copies of, because I know for a fact people who have an N64 will buy it.
Yeah, but I mean, will they actually do it?
Like yeah, they'll totally do it. Like I said before the show, I was talking with you guys in here, and I'm pretty sure that the N64, I hear about it so much because of nostalgia reasons, but like it's such a talked about console in our circles and in gaming circles in general, just for what it did and how these new franchises that were revolutionary and they were perfection of whatever their genre was. It was there, like
Mhm.
big names that come out. Super Mario 64 is such a great game. Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye.
Hey,
GoldenEye
Majora's
sucks
Mask.
nowadays. It's terrible.
Perfect Dark is just bad.
Yeah, Perfect Dark, Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie. These games that were like so good, and even obscure games like the Glove game and Gex,
There was-
the Gecko.
Gex
or something.
64.
Yeah.
I feel like there was this Toy Story themed game where you got to play as the soldiers,
Oh yeah.
Army Man.
and it
Yeah.
was like super dope.
It was
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, screw
So
you
my-
guys. N64 is more than 50 games that are worth playing.
More than 50. Oh, that's
Word.
right.
Yeah, yeah, it's more than 50.
Now you're just lying.
Taking the road.
So, anyways, I'm out.
Haters.
Closing topic. It'll totally happen. Wait like another year or so. It'll totally happen.
I don't know, but wait. Last one for you though, Mauricio.
Yes.
Will they do the controller the same way, like with the
Yes.
super tall joystick and
Yes.
the
No,
rattly
no, they won't.
and the
Sorry.
rattly crappy
They'll
feel?
They'll replace the analog stick with a GameCube one because they have controllers for the 64 that did that. But they will have the middle thing because that's such a nostalgia thing that they
Yeah, the
that
tri-wing.
people will totally be upset if they don't see.
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
they
if
have to do the
it,
tri-wing. They're stuck in that.
They have to do it. But the analog stick with the crappy sensor the 64 had, no, they're gonna get rid of that and they're gonna replace it with like a GameCube one because it's more standard and it lasts longer.
Sure hope they do. Maybe.
Yeah, no, those N64s. Like, if you find a GameCube controller from like 2000, 2001, if it like wasn't used to grind melee tech skill, it's still a good controller.
Yeah.
What, the N64 controller?
No,
the
game-
N64 controllers are shit. Like,
Oh,
you'll get a
my.
blister in 2 seconds off of that if you can actually get the analog stick to input anything at all with its
Yeah.
giant dead zone.
Yeah. I remember seeing that controller and I thought so weird. Like when I was a really little kid, I was like, why do you have this extra thing on the left if nobody uses it? And they're like, I don't know. I mean, you could use it if you want.
I've always the explanation I've always heard is that they didn't know whether analog, like whether developers were gonna want to use analog sticks
Right.
or if they wanted to continue using the D-pad.
That
And they
That's why
didn't.
there's also C buttons, not like a.
Yeah.
They learned
Right.
later that a stick to move the camera is more intuitive. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
But they were.
Sorry, I'm out.
No,
See you
no,
guys.
See ya.
See you next week.
But Dan, you were saying something?
All right.
All right,
What's the
Dan.
next topic?
All right.
Wait, why did you say my name? You just said Dan.
Yeah, I thought you had a thought to finish. But
No.
all right. U.S. Supreme Court opens the door to legal esports gambling.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna. Well, that was gambling for sports in general, not necessarily
Right,
esports.
but-
I don't think it's gonna take off with esports because they're obviously gonna pair that with some sort of regulation that says, you have to be over 21 to partake, and esports has a bunch of people under 21.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I'm assuming they're going to do something like that. 'Cause
That's
Yeah. That
isn't it?
makes some sense at least.
Mm.
Mhm. No, this could also be what it takes to, to slingshot esports into the mainstream. Like the fact
very
that
well could be.
40-year-old men can gamble on it now.
That is an interesting point that I didn't consider. Like esports companies could become like a lot bigger because they're basically gambling rings but legal.
Yeah.
It's like horse races and stuff. Except you're betting on like Mang0 and like that's like the perfect drunk bet to make. It's Melee's got some
You know.
characters that would be great for like horse race style betting. You could have odds.
Now that we're talking about it like this, I don't like it again.
No, we should try it.
I just don't.
We should try it on the podcast. We'll do it. We'll have somebody
Wait.
be the.
Okay,
Let's
this
just
is-
do
this
it
is
right
cool. Now,
now.
We'll
Let's
take.
just do it with Gamo right now. I
we'll take-
say Amsa's gonna win it all.
What are the odds on that?
Amsa will-
Amsa?
I'll give you.
Amsa will
Um,
save
I'll give
Melee,
you 15 to 1 on Amsa. Let's go.
But I say we take a Mario Party with 4 comms and we all bet on a comm.
Why is this always your default?
Because we haven't done it yet.
It's
Ew.
I've been asking for
random.
years.
It's
It's
slots.
Didn't
It's
you
slots,
look
but
into
slower.
like how the RNG is calculated in some of the Mario Party games?
In one Mario Party game.
Yeah, you were gonna try and task it, and you found out that tasking it actually wasn't possible.
And it's possible. It's just sucks so much that it's not worth it. Because so much stuff is predetermined and not actually random. Yeah, fun fact. If you're ever playing Mario Party 5 and you think that the hard comms are cheating, it's because they're cheating. So
Well,
Don't they read inputs?
they read inputs, but also their dice rolls aren't random like yours are. They're predetermined. They calculate their dice rolls. So
What kind of crap is that?
what do you mean? It's the only way they would ever be challenging to you.
What about being hard at the mini games?
yeah,
But
Yeah,
the
you would-
minigames don't matter.
It didn't matter. You get coins from them.
They only matter if you turn bonus stars on, which is why bonus
That's true.
stars should always be turned on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah, there's a given.
I've gotten into like, that needs to be settled before I start a game of Mario Party. Is we're turning on bonus stars.
I've never
know
had
people
anyone
like that.
argue against it in my life.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
Yeah,
what-
who would say no?
I don't know. People who that
Hey,
ruins it.
It's not a competitive game. Like it's not supposed to be. There's so much randomness. I don't see why anyone would argue to take those off. Like, do they want to include skill?
Yeah,
in
it just makes
is
the game a
determined
little
to
more
fighting?
interesting.
Or does it make it less interesting? Because then you have the one guy who's good at the mashing mini games.
Jake.
Wrong.
You have everyone in this chat except me who's good at the mashing mini games.
Dude,
I am not
I'm
good
no
at the
good.
matching mini games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's just me and Lerone.
Yeah.
Who wins? You or Larone?
Around, of course.
Not always true.
It's been either way.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth, and on one of them we actually
think we tied once.
yeah, dead tied. Yeah.
Literally, it's the one where it's just counts how many taps. We had the exact same number.
Yeah. We're really close. Is
Something
what it
about
comes down to.
The wall guys show up and follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game, by the way, also kind of sucks.
Isn't there like an input cap or something?
There's
Like
Oh.
every frame and
there's
something like that.
yeah, you have to do every other frame, but then there's lag, and you have to time it with the lag frames because while all the guys are coming up, it actually lags the game a little bit. So not all your inputs actually register.
That is amazing.
Yeah, no.
So it's kind of a
Yeah, you-
crappy game.
And there really aren't that many mashing games.
Yeah, there are not very many.
In Mario Party 5, I wouldn't know. I don't know Mario
There's
Party
maybe
5.
like
Two.
4-player mashing games,
Yeah.
and then maybe one for duel. One or two
You guys-
2-player
you guys know
or
your
2v2s, and that's it.
All right, I think we can
You
move
guys
forward
know
from
your
this.
Mario Party match.
Yeah.
Let's see what we're talking about.
The gambling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of broke off.
All right,
from
there's
that.
gonna be gambling and mashing mini games in Mario Party in the future. It's gonna be sick and also awful.
Mostly
I
awful.
just don't see gambling entering esports anytime soon. Not unless they ban children.
All right, you really fail to like. People will gamble on anything, and
Literally,
esports
yeah.
events are actually really good for gambling because they're really fast paced.
I don't
Like-
deny that.
They're almost
I-
ideal for
I'm just-
gambling.
I'm just predicting that regulation
You
that's
could,
going
like-
to come with it.
But like, people aren't gonna understand how, like, what makes a player good or not. Like, do you think the rich people are super into UFC? No, they're just rich and can go. Like, people like watching competitive, easy to understand things. There's a number of esports that are both highly competitive and easy to understand. Like every
Smash,
fighting game.
kind of, yeah. Smash and fighting games are
Yeah, that's why fighting
prime.
games are the best to watch.
Yeah.
I don't
They're-
disagree, and I'm sure they'll find a way to like filter out
Like-
the people who are gambling. Say bring an ID if you want to place a bet, but like I don't see that happening anytime.
And that's how horse races work. The horse races, you only have to be 16. So,
soon. Okay,
I
Really?
didn't know that.
yeah.
I'm guessing
you
they
guys
don't serve
wanna-
alcohol there.
I
You
could have
guys
been at the
wanna-
Derby
Yeah.
Yeah.
that long ago.
Yep.
You guys want to bet on Smash this weekend?
Yeah, let's
No.
do it.
No.
I'll-
M2K will solve.
Is something
everything.
happening?
I'll drop two.
Yeah.
Get on my level.
Yeah, get on my
Oh.
level.
That's happening this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Bet on left.
Was
I'll,
that the one
Left-
where they actually had a
Gamo
Yoshi
Leffen
grand
is pretty broken, so
Yeah, it
Leffen's a
is.
safe bet.
I'll put $2,000 that HBox will be in top 5. Who's gonna take that?
Gee.
Wow. But is Leffen even playing Smash anymore? I thought he swapped over to fighters.
No, he plays Smash.
He plays
He was at
Smash.
Summit.
He's
I
at
think- wait,
Summit.
did he play in Summit? I actually don't know.
He sucked at Summit,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay.
No, he got top 5, I think.
barely.
Aren't there only like 8 people there?
No, 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, were you not here last week when we did the Summit wrap?
And I missed the
No,
last two.
he wasn't there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, Summit was super sick.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, like just go back and watch the VOD.
Yeah.
I know M2K solved the game. Like he finally beat Melee.
He saw the
Yeah, he
game.
did finally solve it.
Okay, Mute King winning might actually be only the second coolest thing to happen at that tournament.
Just watch the Zane.
Zane!
Like,
Just
Zane
watch
is
I know,
right.
all
I know
Zane's
I'm subbing
matches.
And
H-Box.
Amsa beat H-Box
We need to
somehow.
watch that. Like that is.
Like the fact that Mute King won, and it might not be the coolest thing that happened at that tournament. That's insane.
Yeah. But we've talked that tournament to death. Listen to last week's episode
We
if
did.
you want to hear more about a Summit. All
I
right,
think I will.
I'm gonna move forward.
wants to join me?
Leaks suggest Nintendo's Retro Studios making a Star Fox Racing spinoff. I really hope this isn't true.
I
Okay.
really hope that's not true.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't care.
So
I mean, why not another Mario Kart with Star Fox crossover?
first of all, this leak, it's just a title of something.
Yeah,
There's no video. There's no like domain name
Why
registered.
are we even talking about it then? Let's just
Because it gained so much traction for
And
some reason. I guess it's because like people are so curious about what Retro was working on because they've been silent for the past 4 years. And we talked about this topic to death too on the podcast. But like, yeah, just like everyone's just like,
so
What
people
is Retro
believe
working
it because they want to believe it.
I not even like they want to believe it. It's just like some vindication. It's like what Retro's been doing for the past 4 years. And I've seen a lot of hate for this. If it's
Okay.
true, because it's like really 4 years for a Star Fox racing game, like not even F-Zero.
okay, here's the thing. The leaks do go a little deeper because there was, well, not leaks, the rumors, I guess. Because there was a rumor a while ago that Retro was working on a game that got canceled. So it's not out of question
Okay.
that they were working on a game for 2 years, it got canceled, and then they've been working on another game for 2 years. As opposed to just
Okay.
doing
Okay.
nothing or just working on one
But
game
still.
for the whole time.
So I'm gonna make some wild assumptions here. Let's assume that this isn't awful news and that the rumors are true. I think there is a room in like the video game world for a racing game that is not realistic but competitive.
F-Zero.
Mario Kart?
No, Mario Kart has a lot of like high level competitive Mario Kart is just time trials. Like people don't
Okay.
consider actually racing against people like competitive just because
There's too
there's
much
too many
RNG.
elements of
Yeah.
Fair.
the race.
Unfortunately.
And like basically I heard about this, like I've actually heard this argument that I'm bringing up right now before when people are saying why don't we make another F-Zero game, but like Star Fox Racer could theoretically fill that, and maybe F-Zero would make more sense, but like maybe this isn't the worst news ever if it's true. That's
Like
just what I want to throw out there.
But it being Star Fox is one of the weirder parts to me. But
Not terrible weird, but because like Star Fox games they don't translate well to the modern era.
all right, guys, I'm gonna like lay like a little like hard fact right here. There has only been one good Star Fox game, and it's Star
Adventures?
Fox 64.
No,
Everything else
people-
has been meh or bad.
actually, everything's been meh. Let's be
Which
clear
ones
on
did you
that.
play?
I played Command, I played 64, and I played a little bit of Assault.
What's the Super Nintendo one?
Star Fox.
the first one.
Yeah, it's just called Star Fox.
I've only played Star Fox out of any, like that's the only Star Fox game I played. I played it a ton when I was a kid and I loved it.
Okay, fine. The first Star Fox is good. I've never played it, but I assume it's fine.
Star Fox
other than that,
Adventures is the real like pinnacle of Star Fox.
Star Fox 64 is like the pinnacle of Star Fox.
No,
That's what
Adventure.
everyone says.
Adventure.
Adventure? The,
For the
the
game.
GameCube one? Ugh, no. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, if this is real, then this could go the same route as Federation Force. Where, like the game wasn't terrible, it just released at a terrible time. You know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Because
they'll
everyone-
surprise
ev-
us.
Instead of releasing a game everyone asked for, they released something nobody wanted.
Right.
Like nuts and
They
bolts.
should've-
Nuts and bolts.
Maybe they're working on Metroid Prime 4 secretly.
They already
have it.
confirmed they
Even
aren't.
though that's been confirmed being made by another studio.
Right.
Yeah,
Which I don't even get. Like, why would they hand it off? Well, I guess the
because
older
because
Retro
Retro's
games-
hard at work at their grand vision of Star Fox, the racing game.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but this like Star Fox racing game thing. It's based on like a storyline from one of the one of the ending screens from Star Fox Command. Like Fox and Falco, they open up like they compete in a racing like Grand Prix thing. Yeah. So it could be based on that.
I suppose.
Cough.
Okay. Maybe the game will be good.
Maybe it will. I mean, it doesn't sound from the leak. It
This is
supposedly
not-
combines Diddy Kong racing stuff and Star Fox element. Which, you know, it sounds interesting. It'll come out at the wrong time. People want an F-Zero game.
I don't think the rumors are true, but
I don't
you know,
either.
if they
I
are,
don't either.
Yeah, I just hope they aren't. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But
Well, maybe we'll find out at E3.
yeah, maybe we will. All right, moving forward. Nairo and the E3 Invitational.
Okay.
Why is this
I just want
news?
to talk about this. Leffen is going to the Invitational.
Yeah.
They invited Leffen.
So?
What? Over Mewtwo King? Leffen.
there of the 8 players invited, 7 of them were just undeniably, you cannot convince me otherwise. There's no argument to be made, less deserving than Mewtwo King. Zero is the only person who was invited who you could maybe possibly make an argument was more deserving than Mewtwo King.
Yeah.
I am pissed at Nintendo for not inviting Mewtwo King.
I just don't get the Leffen invite. Leffen has an alt. Like, he will absolutely talk trash about this game. Like, if he
Yeah.
feels that it's bad.
And he's gonna feel it's bad because it's not gonna be Melee.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. It's. But they want. I don't know. They're going for an international thing. They want everyone to be from the U.S. I guess. So
Could
Leffen.
be it.
Mind
guess
you,
so.
instead of Lucky, it should have been Mewtwo King. If we're going, because Lucky's from the U.S. But
I heard Mang0, like, they wanted to invite Mang0, and Mang0 might have said, like, hey, I'll go, but you have to invite Lucky.
he doesn't have that kind of
They were like,
pull.
okay.
Why does
Come
Mango
on.
have that kind of pull?
Yeah, he doesn't.
No,
he doesn't.
He
Nah,
doesn't.
he's-
They'd be like, we're not inviting your friend. We'll just find someone else.
Yeah, we'll be like, yeah,
Right.
there's a huge list of people who would instantly say yes, and Mango's one of them. Like, come on, Mango's not gonna say no. I'll have Lucky. No. Mango's gonna be like yes.
Yeah, Mango's a
Of course.
professional Mario Kart streamer. Of course
Yeah.
he's
Professional
go to a
Mario Kart
Nintendo.
streamer.
Yeah,
Of course
like
he wants to go to a Nintendo event.
yeah, even if you don't care about the new Smash game, if you like Nintendo, you're gonna want to be here. Like,
Right.
how could you not? So
Leffen, though.
yeah,
The evidence.zip boy.
All in the past.
he's coming a long way, huh?
He's
I-
the biggest
that blew
little
my mind.
bitch on Twitter.
True.
Ooh,
I mean-
shots.
Well, Leffen wasn't one of the players invited to the Invitational. He was just invited to the event, right?
Yeah,
Or he's
an
not one
alt.
of the 8. He's an alt. Yeah.
He's
Right,
an all.
but he still gets thrown out there, and he gets to play the game. He just isn't in the tournament, along with
Okay,
Nairo.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But I'm saying like he's gonna play the game, and if he doesn't like it, I'm sure he's gonna like, talk about it on Twitter and just bash Nintendo because it isn't Melee. I see this happening.
Yeah.
They have to know like what he did in the past, right? Like they researched these players.
It's hard to say how much research or how much they know. Or who exactly was responsible for the... I mean, there's so many unknowns, really, when it comes right down to it.
And maybe they
Yeah.
saw M2K completely murder Armada, and they were just like, we can't have someone like that here.
That's true. It's a
Who
good point.
knows?
It's a very good point. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3 is
I'd
never
say
coming
about
out.
that.
Alright, that's the topic, right? Shenmue 3 is never gonna come out. No one cares.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it was made in Alice, for anybody who knows what Alice is. So it looks like.
I actually do know what Alice is.
I think I know what Alice is too.
Yeah, it's like the crappy 3D modeling.
Right.
Well, not 3D modeling, but like 3D animation / programming thing for teaching kids how to program, basically.
I wanted Mauricio to be on when we talked about this. Just to hear his
Mauricio
reaction.
already went off on Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
Like
It's just funny.
This game looks like absolute hot garbage. People threw tons of money at it for no reason.
When was this announced? 2013, right?
20...
It was E3 2013.
2015.
2015? Okay.
Yeah, 2015.
That's still bad. 4 years?
4 years for a game. Yeah,
For a
and they're
game
like,
that's
oh man, guys, we need this Kickstarter. We need to raise money so this game can get made. And then Sony is just like, nah, we're just gonna fund it full out. So anybody who donated to the Kickstarter was just throwing money into the ether because that this is gone. Yeah, this game's a disaster. It's gonna suck.
Maybe it'll look better. The extra time will be used to.
I like
polish the
every
quality
time
of the game.
Shenmue 3 comes up, they use the same screenshots.
Yeah,
It
there's no
looks-
footage of the game.
It looks awful. I'll put it in the Discord chat for anyone who doesn't have the article up, but it's absolutely like beautiful. Doesn't that look like a game 4 years in the making in 2018?
How much money did Shenmue get funded for?
It looks
at
like a
E3?
Dreamcast game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's $10 million plus unknown. So that's what 20 million plus dollars approximately gets you.
Holy fuck.
Maybe it will look better. Maybe that's why they keep delaying it. They're like, all right, the game's done, but it looks like utter garbage. We have to make this look presentable and not like some PS2 port or an N64 game.
Dreamcast game.
Oh my god.
So
4 years?
4 years.
The
Well,
extra
5.
time will be
At
used to
least
polish
5
the
now because
quality-
it is delayed till 2019. 2019 is all they say too. They won't even give a quarter in 2019. It's just nope, 2019.
The extra time will be used to polish the quality of the game even further to the high standards it deserves and release the product in the best possible time frame. So they're gonna make it look not like garbage. That's why it's being delayed.
Hopefully.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it is. How it goes.
I'm not expecting much.
I couldn't care less about the Shenmue series, so I'm ready for this thing to crash and burn, and I'm okay with that.
That's so sad though. I remember when Shenmue 3 was announced. I was caught up in the hype. Everyone lost their minds. And that was right after right after Final Fantasy 7. The remake was announced.
Yeah, that'll come out.
Yeah, it'll come out eventually. Speaking of that, this is off topic, but Uematsu, he's confirmed he's working on Final Fantasy VII, so it is happening.
Yeah, that game's actually never going to be released. Like, I know I make that joke a lot, but like, that one really
They're
feels
probably
like
gonna-
it. They've been showing so much stuff for that for so long, and as far as we can tell, they've actually barely started.
But they're gonna go full force after KH3 is released. It'll take them like 4 years, and there you go.
Didn't they start talking about it like how many years ago? I've been hearing about this thing for
2015.
forever. There was even like that like super crazy like awesome trailer like 2016, right?
It was 2015. It was the same year as Shenmue 3.
Wow. And they literally hadn't started the game, right?
That's
I
what they do.
think they started, but it
That's
was
what they do
like
with Kingdom Hearts.
early.
Like started as in like they drew some pictures and they're like, yeah, we can make a trailer. They made a trailer and then they said, all right, well, considering start writing some code in like 2017.
We'll get back to this in 2 years.
Yeah.
They just made a trailer. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, well, they need to start KH3, and then KH3 took forever. So. All right. Moving forward. PS Vita physical game production to end March 31st, 2019. I did not know they were.
Big surprise.
Rip.
That's
440.
that's like a lot of notice.
Yeah, we get a year.
That feels like, yeah.
Buy your Vitas now, while you still can.
Now, of course, this announcement basically
No,
just means that no one's going to make a physical game for the Vita. Like, zero
That's not
new
licensed
physical
game
games will
company.
come out.
People still are making physical games for the Vita now
In Japan.
in Japan. Okay.
Yeah, but even in Japan,
No,
it's
the Vita
like
actually did
not
pretty
that
well in
many.
Japan.
I didn't even know the Vita did well in Japan.
Portable consoles do good in Japan.
Because they still make games for it.
I thought it was a colossal failure all
across the board.
globally.
It's
Yeah,
a.
across
It's
the
just a
board.
bunch of trash. It doesn't. Nobody cares.
I mean, the Vita outsold the Wii U, so.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think the Vita did outsell Wii U, like wholesale. So.
Jeez.
You know.
Wii was okay.
What's
It's
Aaron
so
laughing
16.
about?
She likes. I think she likes the fact that the Wii U was such a colossal failure. Well, I think it's more that Julia's just like ripping on the PS Vita being this colossal failure. It's like, well, actually, guess what?
I mean,
And the Wii
Yeah, you
U,
aren't
the Wii U
wrong.
was a failure, but I don't think you've ever used the term colossal failure for the Wii U.
it is a colossal failure. I'll say that. Even though I like my Wii U.
I love, like, I've had a lot of fun with my Wii U.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people have had a lot of fun with their Vita.
Have they re-released Pikmin 3 for the Switch yet?
Not
No.
yet. Okay.
So you could only play Pikmin 3 on a Wii U.
As of right now.
That's a good reason to have a Wii U.
Yeah, Chronicles X. Smash. Smash which isn't out yet.
Yep. Yes, by the way, 15 million units for the Vita, 13.5 million units for the Wii U. The Vita did outsell the Wii U.
What the fuck?
I told you, they actually did well in Japan.
Holy fuck. How do you do that?
It's like they still make games there.
Wow. I didn't realize that the Wii U did almost as bad as the Game Gear.
Oh my god, the Wii U isn't even on the homepage for global hardware totals or on VG charts. Like, if you go to last generation, it shows the Wii and not the Wii U.
Wow.
And this generation, it shows the Switch.
And also to give you an idea, the Xbox One has sold twice as much as the Vita, which outsold the Wii U. So, good job. Good job. Yeah. Anywho, the Vita had a longer run than the Wii U. So, hear ye. All right. Rumor: Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee could be Pokemon Switch titles.
Look at
What?
this trash. Okay.
I want
alright.
this to be true.
Okay, wait.
What is it? Okay, wait.
Let
What's
me break this
What's
down
Let's
for you.
Go? Fill me in here.
Let me break this down for you.
You know everything we do.
So these titles were like shown on 4chan. It said "Let's Go Pikachu" and "Let's Go Eevee" on April 1st. People didn't like take this into account. Like they thought it was just like a troll thing until recently.
Didn't the copyrights show up?
Well, yeah, that's later. Until recently when Therapy reported it, and after that, more information came out. So supposedly we're gonna get these titles called "Let's Go Pikachu" and "Let's Go Eevee." What they're like reimaginings of Pokemon Yellow, set in like the future. You're a new player character, but Red and Blue play a part in the story, but they're not the main characters. There's a new main character.
Okay.
So you have Pokemon follow you like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and HMs are out. They're replaced with the Pokeride Pokemon in Sun and Moon. All right, everything
Yeah,
sounds
God.
good so
They're-
far.
HMs are never coming back.
Yeah,
They should never come back. Yeah. So everything was fine up until they said Pokemon. Well, they said Pokemon Go integration.
No.
And
no.
They want that money back.
and
Oh,
they
no.
said that catching Pokemon will work like Pokemon Go,
Oh God.
according to this rumor. And that got a lot of people like no, please don't. This should not be true.
So,
Please,
it
for the
might-
love of God.
It might be an app then. Not a game on the Switch.
Who knows? But then, people started to take this more seriously when the domain names were registered by a company that does that for Nintendo. And people are like, "Oh my God, this is actually happening. It's 100%. The domain names are registered." And yeah, and that's the situation we're in right now. So, yeah.
I mean,
So, what do you guys think? Do you believe this or?
Not at all.
no.
We'll see.
Could happen.
I'm. Go ahead.
I just don't think that, we could know as much as they're saying about how, like, Pokemon are going to be following you, Red and Blue are going to be in it, but, like, there's a different, like, the player character is different. Like, I don't know, there's details that seem like it might be a stretch.
Yeah, I don't want this to be true. Like, I don't want to revisit Kanto. Kanto's been revisited, or like at least talked about so much in the recent Pokemon game. Like in Sun and Moon, you're from Kanto, and one of the characters goes to Kanto at the end of the game, or whatever. And X and
also-
Y. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, aren't most of the Alola forms Kanto Pokemon?
Yeah, they're all Kanto
Or-
Pokemon.
Are they all?
Yes.
Oh,
Just we don't need a Kanto reimagining. Like, either make this a new game or make it a Sinnoh remake.
Sinnoh remake. No, yeah, that's totally what I would want too. Is one
Yeah.
of those two.
I
Like,
don't want any I don't want the battling to be like Pokemon Go. For the love of God,
No.
please do not make the battling like Pokemon Go.
No, that's fine. No,
You
seriously,
know how
that
it works like in Pokemon Go. You have to
yeah,
tap the
I know
string
how it
control
works.
and
It's
then
awful.
It's awful. It's fine for a mobile game, but don't put that into the main Pokemon game. Please, Game Freak, I'm begging you. It's fine if you incorporate motion controls with throwing a Pokeball or whatever. Fine. And
Is it-
if you go ahead,
No, that's it. Is it fine? But whatever.
it's fine as long as it's an option, in my opinion. You're not
Okay.
forced to use the touch screen or to aim somewhere. like Pokemon Go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Just, I don't want this to be true. We don't need to go back to Kanto. I know I've said that, like, just recently, but fucking make a new game. Not this. Don't cater to the Pokemon Go crowd. Even though I know that's where the money is. Right, Dan?
Right.
Right. I don't believe the domain information gives like credit to this leak either. Because like other
No.
domain names have been registered by Nintendo that end up being nothing. Like
Yeah.
Pokemon Stars.
Yeah, like if something starts gaining traction like this, they might just grab the domain name to make sure somebody else doesn't. Like they don't want somebody
Exactly.
else to do that and make a fake site and whatever. Rather than
Exactly.
dealing with the trouble of that,
mean
it means nothing.
There's so many people who are like the Game Explain guys. They're like, oh man, it's true. The domain says it. That's
It's Game Explain.
Yeah, isn't
I
their
don't
job to
get it.
sensationalize?
That's true.
But
Yeah, I've already said my piece about this. I don't want this to be true. I don't think it's true. The domain name means nothing. That logo means nothing.
yeah.
It was posted on April 1st, for Christ's sake. On 4chan. Come on.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of
Wait,
credibility.
I'm done with my nerd rage.
I mean,
Cough.
well, guys, that's our last topic of the night.
It is.
Any final thoughts before sponsors? Wait, no. I do have one more topic that I want to bring up actually here at the end. It wasn't on our topic list, but there's
Is it Kingdom Hearts?
there's a small fringe part of the population who cares about this. So
Is it the A presses?
yes, there have been 2 confirmed A
Wait,
presses
there's a new-
saved in TikTok clock due to a new trick, and maybe 2 more are possible. They're still testing.
Do you know how many A presses are currently in TikTok clock by any chance?
Most of the A presses in the game, I think like 12. There's a lot. TikTok clock.
What,
Let me see.
I mean, it makes
what's
sense.
going on in TikTok clock?
I mean,
that
TikTok
has,
clock is a
like, so many
vertical
A
level. Like, it's the only level in the game that's vertical. So the fact that
Okay,
having to jump is not surprising. The fact that they've gotten so many off is kind of incredible because it's a vertical level. You
here we
have
go.
to
TTC
continuously.
is 10.
You know.
Yeah, TCC is 10. So a lot of A presses.
And entering TTC is 4 more.
Place.
Yeah.
Recognize it.
So I'm just gonna sort of play the video for the stream without any audio, but basically, if you get in this little spot in the treadmill and whatever, eventually you'll build up enough speed, and then you can use that speed to get a jump without pressing the A button. Oh yeah, I guess for those who don't know, so there's this thing called the ABC challenge, or called the ABC, the A button challenge in Super Mario 64, where Pan and a group of guys called the ABC crew have set out to complete Super Mario 64 100% with as few or hopefully no A presses. Probably as few as possible is what it'll come down to. And this has been going on for about 4 years now. And very recently, I guess over the past few months, over the past year or so, there hasn't been a ton of new stuff. You know, an A press here or there, but usually it's just improvements in speed or efficiency or whatever. But TikTok clock has been one of those pain points where there's just so much trouble of getting, less A presses in it. But this is a pretty recent breakthrough, and it's awesome. And there's some other breakthroughs too that they're working on, which might potentially save an A-Press in entering one of the secret levels in this extremely crazy convoluted setup. That could be interesting. So there's some exciting stuff happening in this, and we might get some A-Presses shaved off. And this might seem extremely bizarre to the uninitiated, but if you look up Panin Koek and you could probably approximate how that's spelled. If you look him up and look at some of his videos, you might start to understand why. Like, they've dissected this game to a crazy level, and it's basically just become like science, I guess, programming without
Oh yeah,
code. Like, it's crazy.
there's multiple universes. Like, that's an actual thing called parallel universes that's involved in this no A press challenge
Yep,
or low A press challenge.
A button challenge.
And he does an amazing job, by the way. Like, if you look at his commentated videos, which he doesn't do anymore, I think.
There are only two that he ever
He's
made.
like such a perfectionist
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that he'll only put up a video if he deems it good enough. That's
And
why he has
his-
a second channel.
The videos that he deems good enough that he like does commentary for are really, really well done.
Yeah, they're excellent. So yeah,
He has a second channel for that.
Yeah.
yeah. His second channel has tons and tons of content, and it has some of the more recentish stuff. Nothing of this TikTok clock stuff yet. I'm sure it'll come eventually. But right now
Yeah, that's why I didn't know.
Yeah, it's right now they're really focused on trying to figure out what's going on here, and there's too much happening at once to make any videos. So, but Tyler Keene did put out a video of the of what this TikTok clock time save looks like. So, and I can throw that in the Discord for anyone here who is interested in seeing it. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people do not care about this at all, but thought I'd throw it out
But
there.
I'm glad you brought it up. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah, if even one
Just
more
like-
person ends up watching some of his stuff because of this, like I truly think he makes some of the best content in gaming in a very weird way. Like
I also think like there's a weird crossover between like physics and computer.
yeah. It's like physics, computer
it's
science,
like-
and gaming in a way.
It's accepting a video game, the same way that like physicists attempt to dissect the universe.
Yep. And
It's kind of what it feels like. Videos where he talks about how this game works on like an internal engine side, and like he comes up with these models like parallel universe. It's just an approximation of something different that's happening that happens to be useful to explain it, and that's like something that's very common in physics, where you won't actually talk about what's happening up with a model that approximates to a very high degree of accuracy what's happening.
Reality sucks. So we make our own. The
What?
physicist model.
What was that?
Reality sucks, so we make our own.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like a fascinating crossover between. It's not like there's no actual connection to physics. Like there's nothing actually connecting it to physics, but it's a very similar mindset to physics.
The games have their own rules of
Yeah,
physics.
the
Yeah.
games have their own rules, but like, just the mindset involved is
Could you imagine,
Right.
like, you walk outside and you look at a rock long enough, and you just like go flying across the city?
not entirely inaccurate.
Yeah, Super Mario 64's physics engine, by the way, guys, gets pretty wacky when you just really specifically abuse it.
And the universe's physics engine gets really wacky when you super specifically abuse it.
That's true. I mean, if you want to talk about
All of
like nuclear like reactions and stuff, that's all basically an abuse of physics when it comes right down to it.
All modern computing is based off of our knowledge of quantum mechanics, which is just basically us fucking with the architecture of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right, but anyway, guys, I think we're gonna close out tonight. big shout outs to our sponsors this week. Julian, you got some talking points on this, I know.
Yeah, our sponsors, Mojang, the creators of Minecraft.
Yep. Special shout outs to Mojang. And
Our ending song is dedicated to Minecraft. You should play it, Jake.
It's dedicated to Minecraft.
Yeah, you can share it in the Google Doc.
All right. Well, anyway, also our other sponsor is YSNet, creator of Shenmue 3.
As you can tell, we're very pro Shenmue 3 here.
So, shout outs to them. Shenmue 3 coming out in March of 2020. That is confirmed right here.
It says 2022.
2022, you say? Does have a lot of twos in
I
it.
can't believe Shenmue 3 is coming out in 2024, you guys. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah,
I
if
didn't hear it. They delayed it again. Not till 2030.
2030? Oh, that's a lot better than 2042.
It's gonna come packaged with Shenmue 4 though, so. But they're gonna have to delay it again to make that work.
It's fine. Shenmue 4
So-
might get released before we die, guys. So, that'll be pretty cool.
Shenmue 3 is coming out in 2070. Everyone mark your calendar.
What? For real talk, if a game that takes this long to develop, how do you even target a system? Like console generations have come and gone since you started this game.
Just take the Half-Life 3 approach and then just don't ever release it.
Yeah. It's a good
Yeah.
plan.
That works. And
Are
we're
you still
all
live? Like, are you playing music?
We're still live.
No, I have not. I haven't played any music.
Oh.
I'm not gonna play Minecraft music because I'm not looking to get
Do
a
I have
DCMA
music
strike
too?
here.
Wait, no,
but-
it's not. It's not a Minecraft song. It's a parody of "This Is America."
You didn't send anything,
So-
so I can't play it.
Oh, okay. I
Uh,
thought parodies are fine.
no,
What
no,
about
no, no. You
Jazz
didn't.
My Poyo Bean? That's royalty free.
I'm not gonna play that for the poor people. I'm not gonna play Jazz My Poyo Bean. Julian, you never told me the name of the video.
It's
Parody.
in the
Oh,
Google
yeah,
Docs.
it's the first
The
link
first
in the
topic.
Google Doc.
Oh, it's in the Google Docs.
Yeah, if you think his is shit, you could do this.
All right, now we're gonna play this.
Recently discovered people take this and put it into Dragon Ball Z scenes, and it works oddly well.
Yeah, we could just do music in minor. That's good.
Yeah. All right, I'm
Like,
gonna play
songs that
Mitch's.
Okay.
Wow.
I've never heard YMCA in minor.
Oh, it's awesome already.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Follow the stream.
I'll see you guys all next week.
See ya.
Here's a supplemental video.
Bye.
You
Alright.
put your Twitter in the Twitch chat, Laurent?
Quick, someone who knows music, what does it mean to be reworked to minor key?
Asked me 15 years ago. I don't know.
It means you're playing with you like you change the notes that have stuff. Yeah. I might be
Alright.
completely wrong about that.
Have a good night, everyone. This has been the
Still
chat.
live?